Again, I'm Katie. I'm the general manager at ADAC, and we want to thank you all for coming for Digital Day. Just a reminder. All right, who's talking? Okay, thank you. Just a reminder that Digital Day is our spring business series, and we also do our fall business series called Get Down to Business. So make sure you join us for both. All of our presentations are recorded, so you'll see that video camera in the back. And if you had any tidbits that you didn't get a chance to write down in your handy notebooks, don't worry. We will send out an email after our presentations. Give us a couple of weeks. There'll be an email called In Case You Missed It, and all of our presentations will be on our YouTube channel, so you can watch them again and tune in. So thank you again for being here. Of course, it's Digital Day, and that wouldn't happen without some social media. So take pictures and video and post them on your social media, but make sure you tag us too, and we'll share that out. So have fun with us. We really enjoy seeing everybody's fun today. And I want to say a very important thank you to all of our sponsors for Digital Day this time. I want to thank Design Galleria Kitchen and Bath Studio. We have two amazing designers from Design Galleria here today. And then, of course, I want to thank Kitchen and Bath Business Magazine, and that's Chelsie. We are going to start working with them on bringing us more business presentations. They are a business magazine, so it all works together. So stay tuned for more business presentations from them coming up. But first, we're going to turn it over to Chelsie for today's presentation.
All right, great. Thank you so much for joining our discussion on the future of creative design. And as Katie said, I'm the editor of Kitchen and Bath Business, located actually here in Atlanta. So without further ado, I will introduce our panelists. So Jerel Lake is an award-winning leading luxury designer who's been featured in national and regional publications. He specializes in crafting exquisite kitchens, baths, and wardrobes for clients throughout the U.S. Is this? Okay. I'm a little loud. And then we have Nick Vanderhovel, who's a second-generation kitchen and bath designer, a licensed builder, and he was the youngest certified master kitchen and bath designer in the country. He has been honored as a praiseworthy pick in our magazine's Person of the Year competition and has been named the best kitchen designer in Detroit. So without further ado, let's get started on our discussion. Nick, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, I think the big topic of Digital Day, most times we're focused on technology and social media. I mean, who all uses technology to run their days? Our calendars, our pricing software, our design software, Canva to put our thoughts together all day long, technology. And on the client side, we're showing off kind of all the benefits of that, social media. And we're endlessly scrolling, we're showing different things. And so we, Design Galleria, for years have kind of hid ourselves from social media. We wanted to kind of keep our secrets. And so recently, we had a discussion, our Chief Marketing Officer, Rachel here, brought in a digital media consultant to kind of promote our social media and kind of take us into the next section of the future of creative design, which we had some lovely ladies talking about social media and branding and everything earlier.
That'll be fun.
I actually want to show you a couple of things that Jerel and I are working on right now. Little preview of what's to come from Design Galleria. So beautiful traditional kitchen.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I was thrilled to be.
A little bit more rustic, some fun ones. We got a laugh.
She's got a mic.
Oh. More of a fun mid-century mod. A little bit more transitional here. If any of you follow us on social media, you might have seen some of these being published. A bit more traditional, grand scale. So we're constantly trying to show and push the limits of design, right? Until we get a little bit further in here, start to see that there's some things that are off. Something not quite right about some of these photos. Jerel, did you design a kitchen on the moon?
I did not. No, I did not.
You don't remember doing that one? I didn't do that one.
So
did anybody else do this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you tell what's real and what's AI?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, if you look at some of the photos and you go back, I mean, it's it's hard to see exactly some of the details that are missing in the renderings with AI. But if you look closely, you'll see maybe there's a handle that's off, maybe there's 3 handles, maybe there's appliances that are kind of layered on top of each other. There's little ways that you can see what's real and what's fake. This is real, obviously, but some of the renderings that you'll pull up from AI will show maybe wavy corners, maybe the hood's not exactly where it needs to be. So there's little details that you can pick up on that show, what is a rendering versus what is reality.
Yeah. Real or AI? Raise your hands. AI. All right. Anybody willing to venture on how they thought it was AI? The dishwasher.
Yeah.
Real or AI? AI.
Not much confidence in that.
All right, yeah, we lost a couple of voices on this. This one is also AI. If we look closely on the right side, you'll see that the hardware is failing. Real or AI? We've got a mixture. This is real. This is a project in Michigan. Real or AI? There's a lot of faucets there. Looking at faucets, hardware, light fixtures, things that are more minuscule, more detailed, is typically where AI will fail. And we're going to get into that a little bit more here in a second. Real or AI? AI.
Yeah.
So we can keep going through these, but 50% of those were real, 50% were AI. And Jerel was pointing out some of the faults. AI has its own faults in general, beyond showing a pretty picture that might have some faucets or hardware off. We can see this table's built in front of the sink. Or maybe I like to
On a hot
stand
summer
in this
day.
pond while I'm
Yeah.
while I'm cooking here, which is probably not OSHA approved.
Yeah.
Or how much ventilation and cooking space do we really need? So this one's really pretty, and I didn't quite see it at first until I saw the hood becomes translucent and we have shelving in the middle of it.
There's 2 weird openings on the left.
The 2 weird openings on the left. Didn't make sense. So AI, and I'm really into this topic right now. I think it is exactly our future. I feel like the interior design industry is terribly at risk, and we should be aware of what's coming. Who has used AI in one form or another? ChatGPT, Midjourney, okay. We got about half of people in here have used it in one form or another. Jerel, you use it to render some things too.
Yep.
I know I use it for inspiration every now and then.
Yeah.
So Midjourney, anybody? We got a couple, okay. I think there's 2 ways that AI can take creative design. I think there's 2 major ways. Actually, I really want to start off with going on what's capable through AI right now. I can take my phone and I can scan this room within 1/8 of an inch accuracy. I can press the button and that will shoot over to my connected desktop. That room will then appear in my 3D software, whether that's AutoCAD or SketchUp or whatever program you're using. Then in the future, and I say in the future loosely because a lot of programs are working on this, 2020 Design, SketchUp, AutoCAD, all of the big brands out there are working on implementing AI in some form or another. You'll be able to then render those spaces. And there's 2 ways to render it. One is aesthetic first and one is spatial first. And aesthetic first is what most of us are doing. We're typing in a prompt. I type in, I want to see a beautiful kitchen on the lakeside, blue cabinets, and a coffer ceiling. Great, AI is going to pump out 80% of that accurate, right? If anybody's used it, has realized there's definitely significant faults to it. But when we go to sleep, AI is learning. It's improving every day, every minute, every second. So once I have that 3D model built of the room, we are very close to being able to then press a button, and what happens next?
I mean, it could be as easy as us pulling dimensions. It could become a 3D model that we can create construction documentation on. This is well down the road, but I think, in the future, we'll be able to scan a room with our phones and instantaneously pull dimensions, pull information that, oftentimes takes us 2 to 3 weeks to generate.
Yeah. there are actually a couple brands out there already implementing this. There's cabinetry manufacturers. And I feel like interior design is kind of at the forefront of this. So imagine I've scanned my room. I'm a client. I'm at home. I'm on build.com. And then there's this AI assistant on there. And now I can scan my room. It pulls it up on build.com. And then I can choose my style. You know what? I find myself, I personally am a bit more traditional of a designer. I love traditional design, but this time I'm going to go more Japanese wabi-sabi. I want to see more earthy, natural, distressed. And then I'm going to say, focusing on the interior design side, you know, I want a couch, I want lamps, I want rug, I want side table, I want a chaise lounge, I want all of these things. And then AI will then take manufacturer products and AI generate it in your own room, bypassing the interior designer. And that is the fear, the same way that House kind of did us all a couple years ago when they started using all our photos and then putting price tags on top of them, selling their products off of our work. That will be happening to interior design first, and then kitchen and bath shortly after. Because kitchen and bath, more technical when we're dealing with cabinetry and 1/8 of an inch, but it will be happening sooner than you think.
So you're saying that this could actually take over the design work that you do?
It will, if we let it, take over. Actually, the next side of this is pricing. Instantaneous pricing when that happens. So I can generate that image. I like 7 of the 8 things that are in there, and I have immediate pricing. Well, I just want to, you know what, let's vary it again. Let's choose to see what else it can do. And I can do this an unlimited amount of times for free. I mean, we use Midjourney. Midjourney, if anybody hasn't used it yet, $8 a month to generate, what is it, 800 images?
Yeah.
So companies will produce this for free and then give you access to it as a client. The next thing is, I just want to vary one item. You know, I don't like this lamp. Great, click on the lamp, change it. Infinite options, immediate pricing. In cabinetry, with 2020 working on this already, you'll be able to say, hey, you know, I want my sink under the window on elevation A, my range on elevation B, my fridge on elevation C. I want an ice maker, fridge drawers, a drawer microwave, and I can vary through different styles immediately and price it immediately. Anybody afraid? You should be. There's just, every hand should be up in this room because that is our livelihoods, our experience, our knowledge, our thoughts.
So how do you move forward? Like, how do you work to not become obsolete in the face of AI?
I mean, I think there's certain segments of our market that will be affected by it. But if you double down on what you're good at, service, it's being creative. What AI can't do is nuance. They can't understand 50 photos that your client submits to you to say, okay, I like these few things out of these images and decipher what that means for you to create a space that's special to them. So there's ways that you can mitigate it by just being just a little bit better at what you're doing, and then utilizing the technology that you have to enhance what you do. So there are negative sides of it, but there's also the ability to use the same technology that someone that's a DIYer or someone who's not as experienced can use, but we have the vision and the design expertise to use that same technology and create something even better than they are. So there's ways to mitigate that.
Yeah, I think augmentation is definitely a big part of this. Actually, I got on board with this because my cousin, who is an architect in the Hamptons in New York, they rip down $20 million homes to build $40 million homes as their bread and butter. And his firm is implementing and testing out 4 different softwares to help expedite the process. They will design maybe one section of the home, and they're using AI to render the rest of the home. And this is at the top tier of the market, building these homes. And so I think augmentation is definitely the way forward for interior design. When I'm stuck, can't quite figure out what I want to do somewhere, I'll go on Midjourney and I will type in prompts. Yeah, and I will create 30, 40, 100 kitchens. I'll find little details. Oh, I love that edge detail. I want to use that sometime in project, whatever down the line. I love this range. I love the way that this fixture went here. So I think that is a good way forward, but beyond that, it's the experience that we provide for our clients. Yeah. And that is actually the direction that Design Galleria has been talking about, is how do we implement and take AI along with the luxury experience. So how's that client feel when they walk in the showroom? How are they greeted? What do they see? What do they hear? What music is playing? What do they smell? Is there a certain scent that's kind of wafted through the showroom intentionally? And how quickly we respond, how we make them feel when they work with us. It's things that AI just can't possibly do. As interior designers, we are beyond just working for our clients. Most of you become friends with your clients. You work with them 1, 2, 3, 4 times over their lifetime. I mean, Jerel, you've got lifetime clients you have multiple projects for.
Yeah.
And AI can't repeat that for them.
Correct.
AI can't build that for them.
So I think you already alluded to this, but it's not going away. It's not like we can't use it at all.
I would say there's very little way forward. I look at the sea change that social media did to our industry. I mean, we were hesitant to get on board for a long time, and now social media is ever present. Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, you can't avoid them. Every picture you look at, share on this platform, share here, is part of our world. AI will be the next kind of sea change that hits our industry, and we can try to avoid it and try to stay away as long as we can, but I do feel if you don't adopt some of it in one form or another, it's probably going to start to dominate. The firms that implement will start to dominate, I think.
So I wanted to go back to something you said before. One way to maintain the foothold in the industry in the face of AI is to create that that one-of-a-kind customer experience, which I assume you're already doing it based on the fact that you're luxury designers. Kind of what would you be kind of going above and beyond doing?
I think a part of it is recognizing what's coming with technology. So, not avoiding AI, embracing it a little bit more, I think separates us from other firms. So we're doing everything we can to stay ahead of the curve, utilizing the technology, starting to embrace it in a way that, makes us more efficient, makes our client experience better, like we was talking about. Thank you notes, what you do to follow up with clients, how you respond, and just overall being more creative. I think at the end of the day, our clients in the luxury market look for connection. And you can't, we all kind of through COVID saw what e-design or e-fitness and all these things that we thought would be modern times just disappeared, right after COVID, because we crave human connection at the end of the day. So I think doubling down on that is going to, we're not going to avoid AI and what it can do, but, our clientele truly believes that human connection is important and they're willing to pay for that.
Connection and a story. How many clients purchase something because it tells a story, something unique about them.
And we tell stories a little bit better than that. Yeah.
So to me, when you have a client who they found the perfect stone or the perfect art piece, I'm doing right now a project for a state legislature and legislation in Nashville. And he had this piece that he was traveling in China. It's this really beautiful art piece, and I'm building it into this Butler pantry backsplash. It's full high gloss green, and he is so unbelievably excited about this room. We'll be done with about 4 months or so, but it's all about that story. He smuggled this out of the country, surprised his wife with it. She hated it. Now we're doing this $120,000 Butler's pantry, and it's only 6 feet by like 9 feet all around this art piece. And that to him is the story of this room, where AI can't create that.
Yeah.
If I had gone on to whatever platform, house.com, and created some images for myself, bought some things right off there, there's no story, there's no connection. I think Jerel's right. The human connection is beyond important for our industry.
I think that's the case with a lot of clients out there who aren't necessarily interested in hiring a designer. I can do it a different way. I can get through that loophole. But I think you're right on the money there. But I think when we were discussing having this panel, you said it's going to be within the next 5 years, right? That
Yeah.
we need to get ahead of it.
Yeah, I told people I was doing this. I've had lots of people sending me different articles and things. Probably the scariest one right now is a couple of very extremely intelligent women over on the West Coast have put together an AI platform where exactly what I said, they will design your kitchen on AI and ship your kitchen, I think it was like 4 weeks, custom kitchens. So it is out there. It is very much out there. If anybody who went to KBiz, sorry, I'm big with raising hands. I'm an involvement guy. So kitchen and bath industry shows this past week where Thomson Traders released the first ever AI design sink in combination with another prominent designer. So product design, and that was, again, part of my presentation to Design Galleria of what's coming. Graphic design, web design, product design. I mean, I was showing incredible faucets that we'd all want to be putting in our projects, and it took me 60 seconds to render 4 of them in AI. So who needs a creative director in these companies anymore to specify what's the best part? Who's hiring designers to design these pieces when AI is going to start replacing us? So that's why making sure we're ahead of it is really important. And it's beyond kitchen and bath and interior design. I mean, we've all saw the writer's strike. Heck, pornography is going to be a whole different beast. Every industry is going to be impacted in some way by artificial intelligence.
And like you said, it's only improving while we're sleeping.
While we're sleeping, it is getting 1,000 times better every second. And I watched a video. It was Will Smith eating spaghetti. I don't know if anybody saw that. It was like one of the first AI-generated videos on the internet. And you'd see him with his spoon or fork or knife or whatever, and it would be cycling through, and you'd be trying to eat spaghetti, and it'd be missing his face and everything like that. And then showing videos less than a year later, you would not know they're AI. It was a woman walking down the street in Tokyo. The reflection off of the puddles, it was raining, the lighting from every direction. You'd never know. You'd never know unless somebody told you. So these pictures being created for $8 a month, I pay $24 because I render a lot. I love playing with it. So, but these pictures will get ever more better. I can't wait. In 3 months, it'll be better. In 6 months, it'll be twice as good. In 2 years, we might not be able to tell the difference from any of those images we saw.
Well, you might. I mean.
And you'll just have to double down. I mean, for designers, interior, kitchen, what is that sales pitch to your client? What does that sound like? How do you differentiate from AI and what you can provide? So I think, yes, it'll evolve. Yes, it'll get better. But I think that'll force you to start to look at, okay, where am I lacking? What areas do I need to improve? How can I be more creative? How can I create something more magical for the client? And with that, I mean, it's hard to compete with. If you can put the human connection together with that story, with the sales pitch, I don't think you have anything to worry about. That's just my delusion, maybe, but I'm not as concerned for that reason.
You walk in the door and the pup runs up to you, that's Lucky, and the daughter's name is Elena. And
you know birthdays, you know everything about the client.
AI will not replace that.
You can't.
So just thinking about, I know, I'm sure all of you have had some difficult clients in the past. I'm just curious to understand if this will actually, I don't know, if give them a leg up is what I'm trying to say, but does it give them the edge knowing they could be using something else? Do they have something kind of hanging over you with that?
I think that's scary in its own right. Now you think about it. That's a great question. Imagine presenting 7 different designs over a 6-month period to a client, and they don't love any of them. Then they just start showing you AI renderings. They're like, I can render something. They went through 6,000 of them to find the one to show you that they did it better in AI. So I think that is another scary part about that.
You mentioned KBiz last week. We had our magazine's editorial advisory board meeting, and we talked about this. Obviously you can use it for business needs and writing emails and stuff. I haven't used it at all because that's what I do for a living. So we talked about, just the various uses of it. But when we pulled the room, at that point, I think several had to go do some other things during the show, but I think there were still maybe 20 people in there, and when asking if they were using this for, in their design process, it was not a lot of them raised their hand.
Yet.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm part of the editorial board. I love KBB Magazine, and I'm sorry I missed it. I was on an airplane.
I already knew your thoughts on
Yeah, you already knew where I was going with this. One of the other parts of this, especially in writing, is I have a blog. We all like to write and talk about different things. I can go on my blog and I can type out 7 paragraphs. I can highlight it and I can change the tone of voice. And AI will rewrite it, whether I want it to be in a serious manner, a silly manner, informal. That's pretty wild in its own right. When you struggle to find the perfect caption for your social media, you can pump out 1 million options using ChatGPT for free. And that'll be very scary for editorial. I was having lunch with one of the vice presidents of Sub-Zero last week, and I was explaining the same thing, is people are going to be putting in pictures of their work to their contest, and they're going to have to go out and check the reality if those projects are real or not, because they're going to be indistinguishable. So photo competitions will be changed drastically.
So how do you feel your firms will evolve in using this over the next couple of years?
I think if we can get to a place to where we have a bot to deal with clients' headaches, that would be great. Start with that.
Call it Jerel 2.0.
Yeah, I don't have to interface with the headaches. If we can utilize our creativity, get the projects to a place that we can create construction documentation and specifications and pull information quickly, I think it just benefits us from an efficiency standpoint. I think, on top of the creativity of, being able to pull 500 photos of a hood detail that we like or we're trying to search for, I think from the business standpoint, we're going to be able to do our jobs quicker and more efficiently.
Yeah, and Design Galleria, if anybody's familiar with our work, we work primarily in 2 dimensions. We work in AutoCAD. We're extremely detail-oriented. We actually don't have design assistants. We have a full engineering staff of about 20-some engineers that work in AutoCAD. And we're already experimenting with different 3-dimensional platforms, which I know a lot of people have been in for a long time. I used to work in 3D before I came to Design Galleria. We're experimenting on which one is the best for us, which one's going to be on the forefront of AI, so that immediately we will be able to start implementing AI into those designs as well. My favorite part will be to do a floor plan and then show a client, here's 5 different aesthetics created by, I know that you had a blue kitchen in the past and are sick of blue, but you want a fun color. Here's an olive green. Here's a fun wine, here's a taupey color, here's a burgundy, here's these different things. I know you want a fun color. Here, I can show these in seconds. I can render it immediately, show it in seconds. It's automatically going to fill it with fixtures either I like or it wanted to fill. You can choose. So I think it will be probably within 2 years be utilized fully in Design Galleria.
There's a delicate balance too. I think the more we lean on it, the less I think they'll see the differentiation on what we are and what we provide. So I would use it sparingly, I'd say. I don't want to lean so far into it to where, the client can say, well, I could just go do that. So it's using it in a way that's, allowing us to show our creativity, show our benefit without telling the client that they can go do that themselves.
Yeah, imagine our immersion room. We have the first ever kitchen bath immersion room in the United States where you can sit and look all around and everything is your space as the client. So I can cycle through different visuals and experience walking through that kitchen.
Yeah. And I'm the kind of person who, I think about this and I don't have a lot of trust for this. Like I would be terrified to go 100% in that direction. Like what if, you know, the ventilation isn't proper and we've got gas leaks and just all of this stuff. Like I can't even imagine. So hopefully, you know, a lot of the rest of the world feels the same way. But yeah, I mean, I don't think anything can take the place of a person.
Yeah,
An
construction
expert doing,
is
yeah.
much safer. So, in 2020's new release, this is not quite public knowledge yet, but they're going to be having AI assist. So if anybody's in kitchen and bath in anywhere from the entry level up through the middle market, AI will literally tell you the codes as you're drawing and let you know the NKBA recommends this, the National Building Code recommends this, and it will help you assist in your design process. It's the first kind of wave of AI through 2020. But construction, safe for a long while until robots start building things. And did you see the GE robot, or no, it was the LG robot? At
Yeah,
KBIS.
it's a little tiny.
Cute little robot. It had these big eyes, and it would, like, you talk to it, it would bounce up and down, its eyes would get big and be like, the laundry's almost done. And it would say it across its screen and tell you, like, the oven has 5 more minutes to it. Connect all the appliances.
And our clientele tends to be, 40 and up. So I don't know if they're going to be all in on AI.
Right.
Similar to your field.
There's some eccentrics
They
that
have
probably
no
will be.
desire to deal
Right.
with robots. They want
Yeah.
people. They're used to craftsmanship. So I think, for someone who's 20, yes. In
Right.
10 to 15 years, maybe. But our clientele who we deal with, they get on Facebook maybe once a month, and that's it. So I'm not so concerned on that.
I guess I aged myself by
Yeah.
saying I don't trust it. It's definitely more than 40.
We already talked about good cop, bad cop.
Yeah,
I'm the doom singer.
I'm an optimist.
I'm afraid, and here's our perpetual optimist. So it's good to have both sides.
All right, I guess we have some time for Q&A. Katie has a microphone. She'll come around.
I'm loud enough.
Okay.
If I'm not, let me know. Okay, so I am.
Wait, I do need the only thing is because we're recording, and so this is much.
Tell me if I'm too loud with it. Is that okay? All right. So I'm the dinosaur at Design Galleria, and so for maybe a lot of you share my feelings of like kind of this fear, and you don't want to deal with it. So what I'm hearing is that there was a designer that used to have a saying that was, give them the FUD factor, and that is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And it sounds like what you're saying is rather than being that dinosaur, by embracing it and learning about it, you can know its limitations and you can implement that, and not in a negative way, but that fear, uncertainty, and doubt, like can it tell if the gas is correct, all those things. And if you embrace it and understand it, then what I'm hearing is you can use it as your friend and as a guide, and you can help, AI can't teach someone tastes. So you can help them see the scale and proportion is wrong on this by understanding it. So my question is, not just an answer, my question is, so as the dinosaur, how do we learn? My 14-year-old could learn this tomorrow. Your young brain, you pick up on it. Where did you go to get it? How do you learn it? You're saying stuff I don't even know what the words mean.
MK, our principal designer, everybody. I went to midjourney.com. .ai, I think it was. And they literally had a step-by-step. It took me 20 minutes to set up. And then I can type in 3 words, I can type in a sentence, I can type in 3 paragraphs. And it's that easy once you set it up. So
MID?
Yeah, midjourney.com. That's the one I use. There's a couple different out there. There'll be more next week, I'm sure. There are actually interior design specific ones out there too. I've come across a few. I will not speak names because I am against it. And so I will let that one sit. But if you want to render your own, by all means.
Jerel, how'd you learn?
I went the same route, but I would say don't waste your time. I would say utilize Neil or Dylan or somebody else. You don't need to bog yourself down with all that. It's just, you're doing well enough.
Okay, you have too many
Yeah,
clients that you don't need
more
to worry
projects,
about
so
that.
it's okay.
Trying to take over.
One of the benefits of having an interior designer is not just your aesthetic that you've honed over all the years, but it's your workrooms, it's your relationships. You're going to get a contractor out there that you've worked with and you know is going to do it right. If they get a design from AI, then they have to go research all of that, and it
They have to
could
do it
mess up
themselves.
really
Yeah.
badly. So that's one thing that I think interior designers really need to focus on and promote.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, wonderful. I totally agree with that. Your relationships can't be beat. It'll be for the clients who don't understand our value in the industry. That might not have been a client to begin with, or might just have been. I think that's who is we're worried about. And there will be clients out there who always understand the personal touch, your relationships you've built. I mean, you've been doing this, what, 7 years?
10, yeah.
10 years? 10 years. I've been doing this for 14 years across multiple states. I'm working in 11 states right now. AI could obviously do that, but I've got relationships everywhere that protect me for a little bit, so.
Yeah, and the best interior designers get it to 80%, I think, and that last 20% is where it really starts to shine, you know? So you have this ability to walk into a space when you're installing and really curate something that's the magic. So there's no replacing that.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Sure. I'll come over to you. Who? Oh, perfect.
I was just wondering if you'd be willing to share the software that you mentioned that would scan the space. Like I've seen Ubicasa and Canvas, but one that does it to 1/8 of an inch or that comes really close that's accurate, because I still have the tendency to like go back and double check the
Me too.
measurements.
You should, yeah.
You should, yeah.
Please do.
So, yeah, so if that's something you're willing to share, I'd like to know what that is. And I did see that thing that you mentioned with Sora, where they put in the thing and then it showed like a video. And I think with the thing that I watched, the thing that it was missing was like how the hands and feet move were the issues that you could really use to tell. But it looked like sorcery. Like it was pretty.
Yeah. Yes, where ChatGPT is to writing, Midjourney is to images, and then Sora is to video. Yeah, it's incredible. And honestly, one of my assistants has sent me a couple different of the measuring tools. I refuse to use them. I am so CD. I measure every space at least 4 times. I'm obsessive compulsive about it. So I am hesitant to get on board with that. So I will use Midjourney to render and create ideas, and then, and I like to be upfront. I do not copy ideas. None of us like to copy, we like to create. So I just use that as inspiration. Like I was doing an old Georgian era kitchen, a kind of an old English style from the Cotswolds from the 1800s. And I really just was curious because I couldn't find too many pictures online. Other like Humphrey Munson, Duvall, and a lot of those people out there, but I want to take it like a couple decades even back beyond that. And so I actually used AI to render Georgian era kitchens so I could see some of the aesthetics that they used so I could implement those pieces into the space I was creating. And that's more of how I use it for now. I'm very afraid of the measuring programs for now. Give it 2 years, it'll be a different world. There's companies out there, large, massive building companies, which you can pay somebody who will come through and scan an entire skyscraper in about 3 days. And then you can walk through the video just like if you were doing one of those real estate walkthroughs when you're buying a home. And it does that to 1/8 of an inch. But you pay 30 grand for that service. But just like everything, cost will come down. It won't always stay up there.
Any more questions?
One more thing I wanted to bring up to this with your question before, but one of the ways in which you can stand out as designers from AI is, I don't know how much you all depend on this at this point, but like word of mouth and referrals and things like that, like will that become more important moving forward?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that just goes back to service, experience, and, you know, what you provide the client, and the end result. I mean, if the end result speaks to the client and their friends come into the home, I think they'll all respond to that. But we work primarily off of referrals, word of mouth, brand
Repeats
recognition,
and stuff,
repeat
yeah.
business.
Yeah, when you're doing a $500,000, $750,000 kitchen,
Yeah.
typically people are not going to Google and finding who has the best reviews or the most amount of reviews.
Yeah.
It is, hey, friend A and friend B,
Yeah.
who did your spaces, who do you trust?
Mhm.
So yeah, referral is definitely a big thing for us.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I have a quote on my whiteboard that says, and I did not say it, but it is on my whiteboard that says, the more empathy your job requires, the less AI can take over. I think that's very key in our industry, just the high-end industry, particularly interior design. Empathy is important.
All right, well,
Other
thank you all
questions?
so much. Thank you, Jerel and Nick.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chelsie.
Good job, man.
All right, thank you so much, and thank you to Kitchen and Bath Business Magazine. Remember, everything is recorded, so if you missed anything, check out our YouTube channel. Thank you for being here for Digital Day.